Chapter 1, The Mockery. The galaxy stretched before the Talreth Dominion, a vast domain that had subdued hundreds of worlds and commanded an unshakable grip on its territories. For centuries, the Talreth had ruled with an iron fist, their enormous warships the terror of space. Enormous star cruisers, towering dreadnoughts, and unstoppable fleets capable of turning entire star systems to dust, nothing could withstand them. Their battleships could fire off salvos of annihilating firepower, and they could erase any fleet that stood in their way with brutal efficiency. So when Commander Kallak of the Dominion's War Council received an urgent report of a tiny fleet approaching Dominion space, he laughed. What could possibly threaten them? The report indicated only 7 ships, each no larger than a civilian transport. Such a fleet wasn't even worth calling an armada. These vessels were described as small, unremarkable, nothing like the Talreth's formidable warships. Surely this was a mistake. A junior officer stood at attention, holding up the intelligence report. Commander Kallak, we've intercepted their signal. Their fleet is moving toward us. It's a fleet of only 7 ships. They're approaching with no known identification. Kallak had the holographic projection of the ships, which appeared like insignificant dots against the vastness of space. His lips curled into a mocking sneer. Is this some kind of joke? 7 ships? Hardly worth our time. His second-in-command, Captain Saris, looked at the projection skeptically. What if it's a trick, sir? A trap to draw us into an ambush? Kallak scoffed. Ambush? They can't even cloak themselves. This is clearly a joke. Send a fleet of our destroyers to scatter them. There'll be nothing but space debris before the hour is over. Kallak waves dismissively, signaling his subordinates to proceed with the attack. Wipe them out, quickly. We have more important matters to attend to. And with that, the Talreth ships powered forward, confident in their overwhelming superiority. Chapter 2, The Tiny Fleet. The fleet that the Talreth so carelessly dismissed was led by the Apex, the flagship of humanity's most audacious experiment, an army from the future. Captain Eloise Carden stood on the bridge of the Apex, her sharp eyes scanning the viewscreen. She wasn't looking at the stars, she was watching the distant approach of the Dominion fleet. Despite the odds, despite the overwhelming size and firepower of the Talreth, Eloise felt no fear. The ships around her were no ordinary warships, they were the last remnants of a civilization that had survived against all odds. Her crew, each one a specialist in their field, each one trained in the harshest environments and under the most extreme conditions, knew the stakes. They understood that their mission was more than just survival. The Talreth Dominion had to be taught a lesson in humility. They had to learn that humanity would not go quietly into the dark void of space. Eloise's fingers moved over the control panel with practiced ease, her connection to the ship more than just a captain's command. The Apex was alive, its systems connected to her mind, its hull responsive to her thoughts. Unlike the Talreth's cold, mechanized warships, the Apex pulsed with life, its hull shifting with strange energy patterns that baffled even the most advanced sensors. Her first officer, Commander Randall, stood next to her, his expression grim. They're closing in fast. I'm picking up their weapon signatures. Looks like they're going for an early strike. Eloise nodded, her voice calm. Let them come. We're not running from this fight. The human fleet, though small in number, was not defenseless. The 6 other ships, each a marvel of futuristic technology, were designed for one purpose: survival. They were equipped with advanced shields and weapon systems that the Talreth had never encountered. They were fast, agile, and more than capable of outmaneuvering the clumsy warships of the Dominion. As the Talreth ships closed the distance, Eloise issued the command. Engage at maximum power. Let them feel the first strike. The human fleet responded with surprising speed. The Apex unleashed a pulse of energy that tore through the void, striking one of the Talreth destroyers in its flank. The ship's shields crackled as they buckled under the unexpected force. A massive explosion erupted, sending debris scattering in all directions. What the hell was that? Captain Saris of the Talreth fleet demanded, his eyes wide in disbelief. What kind of weapon was that? We've never seen anything like it. Eloise watched as the Talreth ship staggered. "They haven't seen anything like it because they don't know what we're capable of," she muttered under her breath. "Keep them distracted. We don't need to destroy them, we just need to make them afraid." Chapter 3: The Dominion's Panic. The Talreth fleet was now in disarray. Their confidence, which had been built on centuries of dominance, was cracking. They had underestimated the tiny fleet, and now they were paying the price. The Talreth warships, though larger and more heavily armed, could not match the speed and precision of the human vessels. The small ships darted around the Talreth, striking fast and hard, slipping past their weapons and countermeasures with ease. Kallak, watching the battle unfold from his command station, was livid. His fleet was being torn apart. He had ordered his most experienced pilots to engage, yet even they were struggling. The tiny ships were too fast, their weapons too precise. How could this be? How could such small vessels possess technology that could turn the tide so quickly? "Bring in the reinforcements," Kallak snapped, slamming his fist on the armrest of his command chair. "I want everything we've got. All cruisers, all interceptors. Destroy them." The Talreth ships began to regroup, bringing in larger and more heavily armed reinforcements. A dozen Talreth cruisers arrived on the scene, their massive weapons charging. But Eloise wasn't worried. She knew their strength lay not in brute force, but in their ability to outthink and outmaneuver their enemies. "We've got this," she said quietly, eyes flicking over the holographic readouts. "Prepare to execute Phase 2. Chapter 4: The Unexpected Tactics. The Dominion's reinforcements proved no match for the advanced technology of the human fleet. The human ships, though smaller, were equipped with quantum shield generators that allowed them to bend space around them. The Talreth weapons couldn't lock onto them properly, and even when they fired, the shots often missed by wide margins. As the battle dragged on, the humans revealed another secret weapon, a field disruptor, capable of scrambling the Dominion's targeting systems and rendering their weapons useless. With a few well-placed strikes, the human fleet incapacitated 3 Talreth cruisers and sent the rest into disarray. "They're using tactics we've never seen before," Captain Sari said in disbelief. "This can't be happening. These are just humans. They're not supposed to be this strong." Eloise's voice came through the intercom. "You were right to be afraid. But the fight's just begun." Chapter 5: The Final Blow. The Talreth fleet, now reduced to only a handful of ships, began to retreat. Kallak, his face twisted with fury, realized his fleet was no match for the human forces. His last-ditch attempt to turn the tide had failed. The Apex was still undamaged, its shields holding strong as it darted around the remaining Talreth ships, picking them off one by one. "I won't beg for mercy," Kallak said as he opened a calm channel to Eloise. "But I will offer you this: your victory today is nothing more than a fluke. The Dominion will return, and next time, we won't be so careless." Eloise's gaze hardened. "I don't need your surrender. I just need you to learn that humanity can't be ignored anymore. No one mocks us." Without another word, she cut the transmission, then gave the order. The Apex fired one final energy blast, striking the Talreth flagship and sending it into an uncontrollable spin, forcing Kallak's fleet to flee into deep space. Chapter 6: The Legacy of Humanity. As the remnants of the Talreth fleet limped away, Eloise stood on the bridge of the Apex, watching the stars. Her crew gathered around her, victorious but somber. They had won the battle, but the war was far from over. "We've sent them a message," Randall said, his voice filled with pride. Eloise nodded. "The galaxy will know we are here. The tiny fleet is just the beginning. The Talreth will never forget this day." Far from the eyes of the Dominion, in hidden laboratories and secure locations, the next wave of humanity's fleet was already being built. These ships were even more advanced, designed for deep space exploration and to ensure humanity's survival across time. The Dominion had only seen a small glimpse of what humanity could do. But they would soon learn the full extent of the power of the tiny fleet. The war for the galaxy had just begun, and humanity was ready. Chapter 7: The Dawn of a New Age. In the heart of the galaxy, in the silence of space, the Apex and its fleet slipped away into the unknown. Its mission was clear: to ensure the survival of humanity, no matter the cost. And though the Dominion had been defeated, there were countless other empires that would rise to challenge the tiny fleet. The universe had seen the power of the human fleet. Now, it would learn that it was not the size of the ships that mattered, but the unyielding will of humanity itself. And as the stars sparkled in the vast, endless expanse, the tiny fleet moved forward into the future. Ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Ready for more? Like, subscribe, and let's keep exploring the unknown together.